So there were four things that your body showed me quite quickly, and then your body reached a place of peace once it had been seen in that way. The first layer, and we'll work through that with the tapping, the first layer was anxiety. There was an anxiety. And then beneath that was some shame, and shame is one of the hardest fucking things that we have to move through as a human. It's really uncomfortable. Then there was this deep pain in the heart and an anxiety in the heart. How does that land as I share that with you? Hello and welcome to Fully Seen, the podcast where we don't fuck about small talk. We dive straight into the deep end. I'm Danielle, your favorite psychic healer and host. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get into these episodes. Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the Fully Seen podcast. I'm so excited to welcome the beautiful Bonnie. She's with us bravely today to share what's going on with her and to receive support for that. It can be really challenging as a empath or spiritual person, someone who's deeply connected to who they are and what they're here to do. It doesn't always mean it's easy. We're going to unpack that today. There's some very real things going on for you. Do you want to share a bit of the background information?
Yeah, so as somebody that's been living with chronic pain due to quite significant disc degeneration in my lower back and a lot of nerve compression that's happening there, it's been a bit of a journey over the last 15 years of being in constant pain. And over the last 6 months, it increasing significantly. It's impacted my life and my ability to work significantly, especially over the last 3 years. And having to face the NHS system again after spending the last sort of at least 8 years taking my own health and my own pain management into my own hands and delving into the holistic and spiritual world and the journey within that as well. It's quite hard to put into words. So
Yeah.
feeling quite... Go on, sorry.
No, it's okay. I just want to honor the fact that you've been into pain for 10 years. That is such a long time.
Well, it's actually been 15 years, but the last 10 years I've come out of the continuous revolving door with the NHS and just being told there's nothing that can be done. You just got to manage your pain. So my pain started in April 2011. And went on to have the physio, pain management, that whole musculoskeletal triage system and not getting nowhere.
What's going on for you at that time in your life? You know, with the 2011, like there's a very specific date for this to happen. What was going on for you at that time?
So I had literally just come into recovery from addiction. I've always had a weaker lower back. There was some significant injuries as a 12-year-old as a gymnast. So there was a point where I was in competition and I fell off the beam and landed with straight legs. So, you know, that could have possibly been the onset of the disc compression.
Yeah.
And also another injury when I was a lot younger, maybe around about 9, 10, where I landed quite heavily on my coccyx. So there's been the physical stuff there. And when I was 18, 19, that's where I first experienced the nerve twinge, you know, sort of bent over drying my hair. It was like curly perms in those days. And I felt the nerve twinge. It was like, couldn't move. And then the investigation at that point, they located a thinning disc.
I want to interrupt you a moment just because I've looked at your astrology chart. As I said, you're very detail orientated and very physically orientated. But what was said was huge. You went into a recovery from addiction. And that was like, whoa. And then you went straight into the detail of like the physicality. And I want to know, like, what made you go into recovery at that point? Because that's a huge thing.
Yeah,
you know?
and I think the reason why I was sort of wanting to give you the physical side of things is that there is a part that I need to speak to about having to name the physical side of things, that it's not just emotional, but absolutely, I think there's a significance
Yeah, of
in
course.
how my back pain had progressed up until coming into out of active addiction. But it was the constant pain. So I found recovery in February of 2011. And then by the April, May, my back had gone into one of its twinges again, which would normally allow me to be just in bed for a couple of days until the spasm had gone. And then I would carry on with my everyday life. But in April of 2011, just in recovery, my back twinged and the tension never released again. And it's been
Wow.
this progressive pain that has increased, and with my muscles having to stabilize my lower back, the tension has spread. But yeah, that was
Wow.
the
Okay.
significant part.
Yeah, I understand
100%.
that the background is important, and the way your body has been activated at certain times with the injuries, and then it feels like compounded experiences. I just want to drop in and reconnect with the breath and tune into your body and just see what I'm picking up on that would be most helpful for me to support you with today within all of these things that you've experienced. And thank you for sharing that with us. So let's just place hands on heart and take some nice deep breaths. Okay. So there were four things that your body showed me quite quickly. And then your body reached a place of peace once it had been seen in that way. So the first layer, and we'll work through that with the tapping, the first layer was anxiety. There was an anxiety. And then beneath that was some shame. And shame is one of the hardest fucking things that we have to move through as a human. It's really uncomfortable. Then there was this deep pain in the heart and an anxiety in the heart. How does that land as I share that with you?
The anxiety piece, definitely not so much now, and the shame, of course, like anxiety, shame, addiction, it's all interweaved, the way that society views addicts can bring a lot of shame because the behavior is judged, not the asking, well, why the addiction? And I do remember that my body my hands used to shake quite easily. And even though I didn't feel like I was feeling particularly anxious, but like if I went and, took a glass, people might say, oh, your hands are shaking. If I took a sip of a drink, my hands would shake a little bit. Uh, and I was always aware that there used to be this quite regular, when your tummy turns with that anxious thought or belief,
Yeah.
and you get that sort of charge in your solar plexus. It's like the adrenals firing all the time. So I was aware, especially through my addiction, that was present most of the day, every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Okay. Yeah, I understand. And having had a look at your astrology chart, there is also a tendency for a lot of self judgment,
massively.
massive inner critic. And you
Mm,
should have done that. You could have done that. You could have done that better. You focus on not the 10 things that you have achieved in a day, the one that you didn't get done and you didn't do it as well as you could have. So that is a hard thing to contend with
mm,
and can actually lead to these addictions because it's just like, I don't want to listen to all this noise,
mm,
you know?
mm. Yeah.
So, and then it becomes that judgmentalness of self. Then you perceive the world as that, not that it's not true that these things get judged by people, but it becomes like this vicious cycle of judgment. That's something that we can begin tapping on, I feel. Not that you wouldn't have worked through many layers of this already, but I'm just working with what your body is presenting me with right now, and we'll see where it goes. Okay. So gently tapping on the side of the hand. Take a deep breath. Even though
Even though
I have a tendency to judge myself,
I have a tendency to judge myself,
I have a loud inner critic,
I have a loud inner critic,
always shoulding me,
always shoulding me,
always focusing on the negative.
always focusing on the negative.
It's fucking exhausting.
It's fucking exhausting.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
I love, accept, and forgive myself unconditionally.
Even though
Even though
I feel judged by society
I feel judged by society
for being a former addict,
for being a former addict.
there we go. We've hit some emotion. Yeah, we're getting some energy moving now. Ooh, I carry so much shame around this.
I carry so much shame around this.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
If only they knew the reasons why people turn to drugs.
If only they knew the reasons why people turn to drugs.
There are so many painful emotions that lead you down that path.
There are so many painful emotions that lead you down that path.
My heart feels bruised and battered by this experience.
My heart has felt bruised and battered by this experience.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
Was that hard for you to say?
Yeah, because I think there's just some harms that I know I caused that, although there's been beautiful reparation in the relationships, there's still part of me that feels the guilt,
Yeah, of course.
and
Okay.
yeah.
I'm finding it hard
At times I find it hard
to release the guilt
to release the guilt
of the people affected by my choices. It's okay.
of the people affected by my choices. Well,
I
it
care
wasn't a
about them
choice.
so deeply.
I care about them so deeply.
I am so sorry.
I am so sorry.
I was doing the best I could at the time,
I was doing the absolute best that I could at the time,
and they understand this.
and they understand this.
Wow, you are so brave to do this. I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
I love, accept, and forgive myself completely.
Let's just pause for a moment, place the hands on the heart, because there's so much depth of feeling in your beautiful heart.
Mhm.
Honestly, it's powerful. It's beautiful. And that was another thing that really stood out to me straight away about your astrology chart. I don't know if you've ever had anyone look at it, but you have Pluto, the planet of power, intensity, depth, emotional complexities, sat right on your sun sign.
Interesting.
So it makes you almost more of a Scorpio than a Libra.
Okay.
This whole podcast is for the Scorpio type. So as soon as I saw your chart, I was like, of course. That only happens once a year, you know? That's a rare occasion that that happens. And you were born on that day.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So you didn't sign up for an easy ride this lifetime, and health issues were always going to be a real theme in your life as well. There's another signature in your chart. So
Okay.
sometimes just knowing a bit of that is just like to something that helps you to relax a little bit, to know that you're not getting it wrong, that
Mm.
it's all part of the plan, that it's written literally in the stars that you signed up for some tricky things.
Yeah, and I do believe that this is all part of my life's path, to help others as well. I really
Exactly.
do have that sense. So yeah, that makes it a little bit easier to.
Yeah, easier in some ways, but also still painful. Let's be
Yeah.
real. It's not
Yeah,
easy
yeah, yeah.
having these is thrown at you, especially these long-term challenges. And we spoke briefly before we hit record that I had a long-term hormonal imbalance that I never thought I was going to see the end of. It was really since my period started, and then I was put on the pill and that messed me up even more. And then I came off the pill and then my body was like, what? And there was no natural rhythm to my body. And like you, the medical profession just dismissed me. They couldn't
Mm,
understand what was going on. So they just said, good luck with that. That's your norm. And I was like, no, it's not. So then I went down
mm,
the alternative path. And that's when I started to connect with my spirituality, my emotional depth, all the trainings that I've done. And I'm on the other side of that problem now. And there was points where I was so frustrated and angry at my body for putting me through
mm,
such an extended period of total fucking despair and I just thought, that's it then. So this is it. I'm stuck in this body and it feels like it's broken, you
yeah.
know? And it was hell to live through. And then you look back on the other side of it and you're like, okay, I can see why I need to go through that. But I know when you're in the thick of it, it really doesn't feel like that.
Yeah,
It
and I think
really,
as well, when you're being dismissed and everything is minimalized and invalidated, if you've experienced that through life, which I have,
Mm.
it's just tapping those same core wounds of like, I am struggling here. I'm struggling here and I need your help and you're not hearing me. Like you're
Yeah,
not hearing
exactly.
me.
Yeah, it's like punching a bruise, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
ow. And
Yeah.
sometimes the way life works is that is what we are aligned to is these experiences that show us that our core wounds still haven't fully healed. Otherwise, we don't
Mm,
need to keep repeating those experiences. So
yeah.
I really want to honor that feeling of being dismissed, of not being heard, the anger and frustration that comes with that, because these are all very understandable responses to that experience. So we'll come to the top of the head now. I have been dismissed so many times in my life.
I have been dismissed so many times in my life.
I ask for help
I ask for help,
and I don't receive it.
and many times I didn't receive it.
This hurt my heart.
This hurt my heart.
If you want to share it in your words, please do. Like, we'll come to the eyebrow now. How did it feel when you were dismissed? And what was your earliest memory of that?
I think one of my. I don't feel like this is the right place to
Okay.
share, so I
Yeah.
won't go into detail.
Yeah. Let's respect your
But
boundaries.
yeah, there was a time where my mum and dad split up and we left and arrived in the place that we were having to stay and just needing that reassurance that everything is going to be okay. And there was just a remark that was made where, yeah, I just wanted the ground to just swallow me up. I just didn't want to, yeah, I felt like I needed to disappear because the rejection was just too much
Wow.
for that 11-year-old me.
Yeah. Okay. When I was 11, I felt so rejected.
When I was 11, I felt so rejected.
I wanted the ground to swallow me up.
I wanted the ground to swallow me up.
I wanted to disappear.
I wanted to disappear.
Or maybe I felt like I needed to disappear.
Yeah, I felt like I needed to disappear because the acknowledgement of what I was feeling was too much for me to understand or even hold.
Of course, you're 11, you should have been held, you know? So you were seeking some sense of safety, security, holding, while you're processing some really difficult emotions, and
Mm,
instead you were dismissed.
yeah.
My emotional world was too big for the people that were looking after me.
My emotional world was just too big for the person that should have been holding me.
I was too young to know what I needed.
I was too young to know what I needed.
I was dependent on the people that were there.
And I was dependent on the people that were there.
I didn't receive what I needed.
Didn't receive what I needed.
And this isn't to shame any parents or any caregivers or anyone who has had children and difficult situations. They probably didn't receive
Mm,
what they needed. And then they give birth
yeah.
to kids that are way more complex and emotional than they are. And they don't know
Mm,
that exists, you know? So there's all kinds of layers to this. But really, it's not about making someone bad or wrong. It's just saying, you just honoring your inner child, saying, in that moment, I felt like my emotional world was too much and no one can hold it, not even me.
yeah. Yeah.
So no wonder these emotions come out sideways. They don't get attended to. You don't know how to work with them. And then we find coping strategies, which aren't really coping strategies. They're just sort of helping us to escape the depth of the emotion that we don't know what to do with.
Yeah.
So I totally understand. It feels so good to be seen in this way.
It feels so good to be seen in this way.
And I can tell you, I am about as deep as they get emotionally. I'm crying all the time. And that's why I'm creating this space for people like us to feel less alone in that. There is no shame in feeling.
There is no shame in feeling.
There is no shame in having needs.
There is no shame in having needs.
It shows how beautifully connected to my heart I am.
It shows how beautifully connected to my heart I am.
And how brave I am to keep it open in our harsh fucking world.
And how brave I am to keep it open in such a harsh fucking world that it feels sometimes.
Sometimes, like, there's still lots of beauty out there, but as a sensitive person, sometimes you feel like it's just too much to be around. You know, you feel too light, you feel too soft, too mushy for quite a harsh reality.
Yeah. And for around people that don't understand my depth, and
Absolutely.
thankfully I've got people in my life that do understand that, but there's people and friends from old that I'm too deep, I take things too far.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah.
overthink things, you overanalyze things. That's exactly who you're
Mm,
here to be. You're a psychological detective, my love, and that's exactly what you're here to do. I want to give people permission to be the ocean in a world that feels like everyone's dipping their toe in a paddling pool. And I'm like, I'm
yeah.
the depths of the ocean. Can someone come and swim with me, please? Because it's not wrong. It's just not understood by many people. That's why we do need to magnetize our people and gravitate towards them. And it naturally filters out the wrong people the more we show up as we truly are. Because some people can't hold the depth
Yeah.
of who we are. And that's the
Yeah.
reality. And that can be quite
Mm.
isolating and lonely.
Especially when,
You
like,
know,
you can see it's their projection as well that's coming at you.
oh my
But
God, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
This is it. You're like when you've got a lot of Scorpio in your chart, this Pluto energy, the eighth house energy, it's like you're a walking trigger for people because you see the shadow, you see
Mm,
beyond what they're presenting, and they know you know, but they don't want you to know. And so it's uncomfortable for them and it's uncomfortable for you because you're like, oh shit, me just being in the room's upset you.
mm,
Because I have this gift, but for the right people, it's a blessing.
yeah.
And some people will never look at their shadow. And that is such a shame because the more I look at my shadow, the more I love it. and it's not as scary as it seems.
Yeah.
And you get this deeper connection to yourself and this deeper level of honesty. So I'm just celebrating you in your depth.
Okay.
It's just divine and I love it. I feel called to pull an oracle card for you now, actually. This deck is, I've got both of them here, but I'm going to pull from this deck. So let's see what advice comes out. Oh my God. A sea reference, of course. Oh my God. Perfect. So we've got 2 cards for you. This one's Under the Sea, and this is the Underworld. And I'm actually going to read the Underworld first because this is a painting that I painted when I was going through a death and rebirth cycle, and all of that is messy when you're transforming and you feel really uncomfortable and you break out your shell and you're like,
shedding the skin.
shedding the skin again, because you do it like, I don't know about you, but I do it at least once a week. So this is, but this one feels like the core of the earth or like the underworld. Being on earth is an interesting journey and often messy, to say the least. Deep breath. I think a part of me hates having a body. Not always, but sometimes. I'm an old soul. My home is in the spiritual realm. Can you relate? But for now, my soul chose to be here at this time, and I intend to experience all the pleasures and pain being in a human body can bring. Remember, your soul is here for a reason. You are one powerful presence that this planet so desperately needs. How beautiful is that? Like, that is the Pluto card right there. So that's saying own it, own your vulnerability, own your power, own that depth, because everything that's been made wrong about you is actually exactly what you're here to be. And this one is about dropping beneath the surface. It says this feels like a scene when you've been snorkeling. If you think about being beneath the sea, it might seem scary to go there. But when you do, all is calm. And that's what I reached quite quickly with you. As soon as I acknowledged those 4 points that your body wanted me to be aware of, there was this deep sense of peace beneath it all. So that's always there. On top, there are waves to contend with, sometimes big, sometimes small. But if you go deep enough, there is peace beneath the surface. All is quiet. Answers can bubble up to the surface when you are quiet enough to listen. Remember, it might be scary to stop and be still, but you will be surprised at the peace it will bring.
I love that.
Oh, it's just so
love that, and it's so apt as well, and it's interesting as well because I've had certain meditations and drum journeys that I've done. I had a message that it came through so clearly a couple of years ago. Don't be afraid of the depth of your waters as they run deep.
Yes.
But interestingly, I've got a real fear of deep water. So it's like you can see how
this is it. We're scared of ourselves. On one level, we're scared of ourselves. When I found out I was a Scorpio rising, and I've got 7 placements in Scorpio, so I'm like you on steroids. So you've met your sister over here. And when I find out I was a Scorpio rising, I literally did this when I looked up my astrology charts. I was like, oh, because I didn't like Scorpios at that point in time. I thought, oh my God, they're really scary. They're intense. They just stare at you and they see everything. I didn't like it. So I had to really start to gently embrace that side of me. And now it's my favorite thing about myself, like my spirituality and my emotional depth and my intuition. And that's all I'm doing and teaching and being right now. But I was scared of it. So I totally get it. And there's an amazing film I'd love you to watch, which might help with the fear of the depths of the water, which I challenged myself to watch as well. But it's called The Deepest Breath. It's on Netflix.
I think I've seen it. The free divers.
My God.
Yeah,
yes.
And
do you know how there's part of when they get down there? Like, it's just like, oh.
Yeah, and my body, when I'm in water and the support of water, I don't have the pain. Yes, I've got the twinges when I move my spine, but I get so much being held in a body of water.
Yeah, because that's your home.
The depth that scares me. It makes me feel vulnerable. You know, like the thought of these little legs. But I
know, but this is sense. It. This is letting me know that you haven't really reached the depth of who you are yet. Because if you're still scared of it, there's still something And I've gone down a mile beneath the sea over and over again. And I think I've hit the bottom. I can't go any deeper. And then there's another layer that gets revealed. And I'm amazed by the journey. So if you want someone to hold your hand as you swim down, I'm your girl.
No.
And it's just such a beautiful, beautiful experience that when approached with care and with someone who knows that journey well, there's so much to discover about yourself. The fear is telling me with Scorpio types, you always have to move towards your fear because that's where you unlock all of your power.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think as well, like my gene key is 18, which is judgment, integrity, perfection. So I know I've got this massive piece of judgment inwardly and outwardly, and the perception of judgment from others. And yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's all beautiful. It's all stuff that you can unpack and reveal things about yourself. And then, like you say, whatever you discover for yourself, you can then help others with. So
mm,
the sooner you get deep with yourself, the more deliciousness you'll have to share.
yeah. That's exciting. Even
Yeah.
more exciting.
Honestly, like I feel like we have literally just scratched the surface of what is possible for you, even though this is the thing that I've realized with emotions is you can think that you've felt something, you've dealt with something, and then there's another layer. So whatever your body is showing you, never dismiss it because that's a form of
Yeah.
self-dismissal. It's like, yeah, well, I've dealt with anxiety. Yeah, but I'm feeling it now. And that is related to that. And even if I have chipped away at that before, I need to do that now. And then it's
Mm,
always a good sign when old things resurface because it means you're ready to move towards a new reality. It's a step forward. Whenever it's a look back, it's really a step forward disguised as a quick clear out this resistance so that we can propel you forward now. So it's
mm.
really a positive thing when old
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
comes up.
Yeah, it's information, isn't it? Okay, am I going to listen to this? Am I going to stay curious about this? Or am I going to pretend it's not here and dismiss it and try and hide it? And which just never works.
No. And then how funny that we've gone full circles. Like you felt dismissed by others, but it's like, where am I dismissing myself? How can I be more real and honest and supportive of myself? You know, I've got through like a backlog of emotional stuff. I've been through so many dark nights of the soul, I can't even tell you. It's been an intense 10 years for me to clear and purge all of the depth of the emotion that I was not aware of. It just came up as and when I was ready to deal with it with the right healers at the right time. And now I just turn on the tap daily, really. Just let out a little cry every day or check in and be like, what's here? And I just know it's a maintenance thing. When you are as emotional as we are, it's a full-time job sometimes.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's necessary. It's absolutely necessary, and it is. Like, I agree. It's a constant evolution of this journey, this inward journey of understanding ourselves a bit more, and staying curious as to the origins,
Yeah.
whilst also honouring the physical side of things, the real physical and mechanical side of things as well that can cause pain. I think as we continue this life without trying to constantly digging for what's here and what's not, because I think that can become a little bit toxic and unhealthy, thinking that we've constantly got to dig. But I think,
It's
yeah,
not necessarily
st-
digging.
no, but some people perceive it as that way, don't they?
Yeah, it's almost a bit judgment there. I
Mm,
just let things arise within me. And I'm so in tune with my body now that I can't function if I've got emotions that need processing. I'm like, oh, there's something here. It's very
same.
here. So I
Yeah.
need to stop and take myself off and be with myself and be like, okay, what is it? And it can move within 2 minutes if I actually just
Yeah.
give it the space it needs. Oh, I'm
And to
feeling
allow the
upset.
body to move. Yeah.
Exactly. Shake it off.
Yeah.
Do like a workout I find is good for clearing energy and stuff. So there's all sorts of things that we need to learn and be masters at to be the deeply emotional people that we are.
Mm.
I'm just so honored to have connected with someone who gets it.
Yeah, me too. It can feel lonely and you feel misunderstood, and why isn't this physical pain going? And I've spent the last 14 years uncovering this emotional stuff. You can get like that, can't you, sometimes? But
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah, that frustration, the anger, and allowing yourself to feel that anger and frustration, and then getting curious, well, why is this still here then? What am
mm,
I missing? Is this something that my soul signed up to live with for the rest of my life? Or is there a way through
mm,
it? And then it's asking for help. I am at my wit's end with this. You're going to have to show me the way. And you give it up. I didn't do much of that when I was going through mine because I wasn't as connected as I am now. You ask for help and then you stay curious about who comes into your awareness or what video you need to watch or what book you need to read. So they drip feed breadcrumbs for you to figure out the things that you need to figure out. Yeah, I mean, it's such a complex topic, these long term things that we can experience. But
mm,
hopefully, we've helped some people listening today to feel less alone on that journey and to have
yeah,
honored some emotional experiences that they're having around that. But yeah, I feel like that's a
yeah.
really beautiful place to close. Thank you
Okay.
so, so much. You look lighter.
No, thank you. Yeah, yeah, and it's having that witnessed. Do you know what I mean? Because that whole thing of wanting to disappear, the whole judgment that can happen from being seen when that was all what I ever wanted. There's like, oh, now that I'm stepping out into the world even more and the work that I deliver, there is such power in allowing yourself to be witnessed as you're moving through your own inner emotional world. So there's so
Exactly.
much power in that. So oh, thank you
Exactly. And you're on your
for
life path because that is in your chart too, that you are here to be seen in a public way and to show up. It's almost like you're allowing your inner child to receive what she didn't receive when you were younger
mm,
by doing it in
yeah,
this way. So it's
yeah,
so healing.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. So you're saying I'm Scorpio rising.
No, you're not a Scorpio rising.
No,
You have
what?
Pluto on your
Yeah.
sun. It's called, if you want to look it up, Pluto conjunct the sun. And then you can tell me
Okay.
how accurate it is.
Okay. So where was the Scorpio bit coming in? Just out of
Because
interest.
Pluto is the planet ruled by Scorpio.
Okay. I get you.
So you can't get more
Okay.
Scorpio than Pluto.
Okay.
And it's the
I'll have a
ruler
look
of my
into that
chart.
then.
But yeah, so even this in itself, like Spirit has guided us together for you to get
Mm,
another piece of the puzzle of information that helps you to understand. It speaks to everything you've shared. It can be trauma, it can be painful experiences, it can be issues with control, manipulation, jealousy, power, sex, money, death, rebirth. All those juicy topics will be quite present in your life.
okay.
Addictions.
I'll look into that. Yeah. Because I've sort of had a look into astrology and I've had my chart read a few times over the years, but not sort of, it's nice that you give that specific with Pluto and conjunct with the sun. Is that what you said?
Yeah, yeah,
I'll,
yeah.
yeah,
So basically,
I'll
when
look
I
into
do
that.
readings, I translate the language of astrology because obviously, when you start talking a language that you don't speak, you go up into your head and you get lost because it doesn't mean anything to you. So we talk through the qualities of that, and we look at the past, the present, and the future through the lens of astrology. The way
Mm,
that I was trained is very psychological and therapeutic. I use astrology
hmm.
as a tool. It's like a
Yeah.
cheat sheet for therapy. Oh, this is who you are. How are you getting on with that?
Great.
Yeah, it's an amazing experience, and I just use that alongside healing sessions because it just works really well. So
Compliments.
yeah.
Yeah. Compliments it. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so
I've
much for
really
being my
enjoyed it.
first ever guest.
Oh, my pleasure. I feel like, it's an honour, really. So thank you for the invite.
I feel honored that you're willing as a private person to be vulnerable in this way. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you for watching this episode of Fully Seen. I really hope it's touched you in some way, and I would love to hear how in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, share it with other people who need to see this. Episodes will be coming out fortnightly on a Wednesday, so take your time to watch it again, repeat the tapping section. And if you would like to go deeper with my work, you can visit flowwithdanny.co.uk, where you can buy my books, oracle decks, online courses, and one-to-one working with me. I am so happy you are here. Stay tuned for more. Thank you. Bye.